recording on. Do you mindlessly eat or binge when you're overwhelmed, stressed, or celebrating? And then do you feel sluggish, guilty, bloated the next day? Do you go from diet to diet expecting different results? Do you see that it's possible to finally free yourself from the food obsession? Pop your yes in the chat if that's you. And please, everybody, mute yourself. So today I'm going to share with you 3 excellent ways to break the food addiction and teach you about the fat storage trap. If you don't know about the fat storage trap, it's the one thing that can end the years of torment and the search to lose weight. So what's the biggest struggle that you come to trying to live your best life? Put one word in the chat. What's your biggest struggle when it comes to living your best life? Great. Day job from Beth, stress. Yep. All of it. Nighttime eating. Yep. I got them all too. Wait. All right. Before we get started, I'm going to go over some housekeeping. But first, I want to give a big shout out to Colleen, who's my wing woman today. Thank you, Colleen, for showing up. She's going to handle the tech side and the links for me. I'm going to speak for about 25 minutes and then open it up for questions. But if you have a burning question, go ahead and put it in the chat and Colleen will send it over to me. I also invite you to put your cameras on to engage with all of us. I know it's really tempting to fold the laundry, unload the dishwasher. I'm definitely the queen of that when I'm on webinars. But to fully absorb this information, being present and engaged and sharing your support with the fellow women in the webinar is really helpful. There's also proof that when we're engaged in a webinar, we are 10 times more likely to retain the information. I also want to say that this webinar and my coaching are for informational and educational purposes only. They are not a substitute for individual medical or mental health advice or constitute a provider-patient relationship. This webinar is about my experience in the health and wellness industry for over 30 years and my experience in our complex world. So let's get started. Let me ask you this. Do you wish that you could finally get lasting results in searching for a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that leaves you feeling confident and full of energy? Because it is possible to break free from yo-yo dieting and finally make peace with food. Before we wrap up the training, I'm going to share with you my free Busy Women's Breakthrough call. I've opened up a limited number of slots in my calendar for these calls. During the Busy Women's Breakthrough session, we'll assess your biggest challenges and devise a 3-step individualized plan to get you on your way to a healthy, sustainable lifestyle. We'll also see if it's a fit for you and I to work together in the future. It's totally free, but it's on a first-come, first-served basis because I'm committed to helping you create a sustainable lifestyle by changing your most challenging habits. You see, my clients who graduate from my programs learn how to make peace with food and they trust themselves permanently and their self-esteem blossoms. There's lots of weight loss programs out there. Mine's different because mine isn't about calories or the number of steps you take. Haven't we all proven to ourselves that those don't work? The diet industry is a billion-dollar industry. It doesn't work. I will teach you how to change your daily habits by changing your thoughts, which will change your feelings, and our feelings will change our behaviors. Today, I'm going to teach you 3 keys to breaking free from yo-yo dieting, making peace with food, and then at the end, some secrets to recharging your metabolism. Sound good? Give me a yes in the chat. All right, do you go from diet to diet expecting different results, but constantly gaining more weight after you go off the diet? Are you one of the women who get on the scale every day? Do you let that number determine your mood? In other words, if that scale says you're 3 pounds up, Does it make you crazy and that bleeds into all your relationships? Or if the scale says you're 3 pounds down, do you go bouncing out of the house, having the best day? That was me. That was me. And I would carry that negativity with me all the time. And you're not alone. Most people that seek to lose weight and get in shape fail because diets don't work. And most fitness programs and trainers want you to become dependent on them because that's how they make their money. Now, full disclosure, I'm a trainer. I've been a trainer for over 30 years. And the reason I've gotten to this place, one of the reasons, is because I noticed that it's great that my clients would come 2 or 3 times a week and work out, but nothing was changing. They'd go on these diets, lose weight, gain them back, lose weight, gain it. And I thought something is missing. And then a little bit down the road, I'm going to tell you my story, but that's how I got here. And I want you to think about it. What program or diet teaches us how to stop our old habits and replace them with new ones? Even the app-based diets require that we log everything we eat, intending to stay under a specific caloric limit and to avoid certain foods and nutrients. See, we have to learn to trust ourselves with food, to enjoy it. It's nourishment. It's not an antidepressant. It's not an anti-anxiety. It's not something we should use when we're bored, sad, glad, or mad. And if this is you, I'm committed to getting you the tools to replace these old habits with new ones. The World Obesity Federation just came out with a report that more than half, I'm going to say it again, half the global population will become obese by 2035, costing the world $4.32 trillion annually. Let that sink in. The most significant increases are going to be among children ages 5 to 19. The diet culture is sneaky. They tell us that if we all ate the same thing, we all did the same workouts, we'd all look the same, which is so untrue. Not one of us is the same, thank goodness. Sugar, fat, and salt are addictive because when they enter our bloodstream, the body releases those feel-good hormones like serotonin and dopamine, the same hormones that some drugs like cocaine can affect. And the ironic thing is that you can get into a cycle where you crave the sugar, salt, and fat for an energy boost, but in the end, it leaves us feeling more tired. The good news is that breaking that sugar rush and crash loop doesn't take long for most people. And if you stay on the webinar until the end, I'm going to share with you my free 5-day sugar detox. We all can do something for 5 days. 5 days of a sugar detox gets you on that road. So stay to the end and you can go ahead and join us in my 5-day sugar detox. We can stop frustration, self-consciousness, stress, depression, and weight gain, and I'm going to show you how to get lasting results. I love supporting women in my programs to help them to create the life of their dreams because they begin to love their bodies, to have more energy, and then they can move mountains. And if I can do this, anybody can do this. So put a yes in the chat if that sounds good to you. Here's a crazy fact. Did you know that 9 out of 10 women who lose weight gain it back again? And not only that, but they've also tried 4 or 5 more diets along the way, which just strengthens the fat storage trap. Not only that, 95% of all people who set New Year's resolutions return to their old ways before the end of January. That's because diets and deprivation, it doesn't work. And I was the ideal customer for the diet industry. I lost count of all the diets I've gone on. I've done Pritikin, Atkins, Herbalife, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, The Zone, South Beach, Grapefruit, Raw Foods, Vogue, that was my favorite. The Whole 30, Slim Fast, South Beach, Mediterranean, vegan, intermittent fasting. And When I would gain the weight back and more, my self-confidence and self-esteem would take a nosedive, leaving me feeling hopeless. And I had no idea that standard solutions didn't work. I always thought it was me. I thought I didn't do the diet right. And then the depression would set in, bleeding into all the other areas of my life. Standard solutions are based on deprivation rather than sustainability, and diets steal our time, our energy, and our money. And that's why I'm here, because I have hands-on, high-touch programs where I help my clients achieve the body of their dreams and live the life they deserve. And they have more time and confidence to focus on their partners, their children, their friends, and their career. And I'm here because it was me for many, many years. I was chasing the perfect body. Here's my story. In my family, fat wasn't acceptable. I was a chubby little girl, and all my siblings were tall and lean. And I was constantly harassed by my father because I didn't have the perfect body. My dad would put his arm around me to see if he could pull the love handles. And then he would tell everybody how I needed to lose weight. So I was constantly chasing that perfect diet. I lacked self-confidence most of my life. I hated mirrors in dressing rooms, and I felt hopeless. I lacked self-esteem and confidence and lived with my father's constant reminders that I had to achieve the perfect body to be loved. Sad, isn't it? The one person who should have loved me unconditionally destroyed my sense of self-worth, lovability, and chances of success until I reached a certain weight. My weight loss life was like this. I would lose weight. I'd congratulate myself. I'd feel fantastic for a month or two. I'd get confident in my clothes. I had energy, I slept well. I wasn't afraid to go to the beach or the pool or out with my friends. And then slowly but surely, it would come back on because I'd let myself cheat infrequently. And then it became a regular thing, right? Hence back to all my old eating ways. And I was bulimic for years and years and years. I lost more than 20 years to dieting, disordered eating, missing countless vital moments in my life. I drank alcoholically and I did cocaine to drown out my feelings, which only demoralized me. I'd binge and purge, I'd starve myself, I'd go on long runs, anything that would numb the emotional pain of feeling less than because I didn't have the perfect body. Deprivation doesn't work because when emotional eaters like myself, the moment we feel deprived or we run into a stressful situation, we go off the diet. Then we feel terrible about ourselves. We quit, creating another fat storage loop. And then the craziness continues. Then to compound it, we all go on the next exercise fad and beat ourselves up, which just creates more cortisol dumping, which is another part of the fat storage trap. And that's why the insanity continues. Here's another thing that the diet culture tells us. They tell us that we should worship thinness and that it equates thinness to health and moral virtue, which means we can spend our whole life thinking that we're irreparably broken just because we don't look like the impossible thin ideal. It also equates losing weight with higher status, which means I felt compelled to spend massive amounts of time, energy, and money trying to shrink my body. Dieting demonizes certain eating methods, so I was ashamed of making confident food choices, and I was constantly distracted from pleasure, purpose, and my power. And never mind the fact that it discriminates against people with larger bodies, Black and brown people, people with disabilities, older people, trans people, and other marginalized folks, creating damaging effects on their mental and physical health. See, the food industry hires teams of scientists to research how we will eat 2 bags of chips instead of 1. The foods that contain sugar, salt, and fat ignite that same part in our brain as opioids and cocaine. So it's not your fault. The food industry is doing this to us, and they're a multi-billion-dollar industry just like the diet industry. But once you're educated, you can be a savvy consumer. And now you know. Dieting is a life thief. Dieting is a way of keeping us fixated on food in our bodies, and it prevents us from changing the status quo. It prevents us from speaking out and rebelling against the things that don't work for women, from reshaping society in ways that align with our values. It keeps us from recognizing our true power, and we pass that on to our children, our coworkers, and family. See, this internalized weight stigma has been proven to increase people's risk of diseases. Yo-yo dieting is addictive, and the diet industry knows that. They prey on our inability to keep the weight off, knowing we'll get caught in that vicious cycle of weight loss and weight gain, while they reap the financial benefits. That's why we're all addicted to food, and the fat storage trap makes them billions of dollars. So the fat storage trap is when we have a history of yo-yo dieting, we constantly eat processed foods full of sugar, salt, and fat. Then we have our stressful lives that cause cortisol dumping. Then we go out and do a crazy exercise program to burn the calories simultaneously, and then the crazy continues. See, cortisol and insulin work together in our bodies. When cortisol concentrations increase, our body becomes insulin resistant. When our body becomes insulin resistant, the glucose isn't used for energy, it gets stored as fat, and usually around the middle. And that's women, we do not want the fat coming around our middle. When this happens, it can be the road to type 2 diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and more. And high levels of cortisol affect our metabolism. It causes fatigue, depression, reduced memory, and lousy concentration. Then we have the mental loop. Women, we're really good at this. The guilt of not spending enough time with our significant other, our children, not working out, not spending time with our friends, not having enough time to volunteer at school, and wanting to work on our own careers. See, we're spreading ourselves too thin, and most of us are failing miserably at it. Finally, I had enough. I searched for the right coach, the right programs. I learned the science behind weight loss, and I eventually became a professional in the health and fitness industry. These coaches helped me change my mindset about who I was. They helped me change my habits around food and exercise, and to deal with the daily stressors in a healthy way is not stuffing myself with food to calm my nerves or to bury my pain. And here's the good news. I'm talking to all of you today because I'm one of those women that's kept it off. I discovered how to break that fat storage trap and make peace with food, and I want to share it with you. And I'm not like the diet industry. I don't want to coach you forever. I want you to learn these things that changed my life for good and never return to me, because you won't need to. It's a conscious decision we all have to make about becoming healthy, confident, and fit. It really boils down to this. Just how happy do you want to be? Because making peace with food is a process. It took me over a year to stop counting calories, micronutrients, to get off the scale, to stop depriving myself of bad stuff, and to learn to recognize when I was hungry, physically hungry versus emotional eating. Was it easy? Absolutely not. But it was worth every second of it. And I've coached hundreds of women just like you to stop the insanity of yo-yo dieting and fearing food. It breaks my heart that people struggle with self-confidence around who they are. So again, I've opened up a few slots in my calendar to have a busy women's breakthrough call. Are you one of the women that get on the scale every day? Do you let that number determine your mood for the day? Right? In other words, if that scale says you're 3 pounds down, you go bouncing out of the house. If it's 3 pounds up, you carry that negativity with you. Do you realize that you're giving your power away to a number? I did it for years. And once I realized what I was doing and how insane and damaging it was, I stopped weighing myself. I actually threw my scale out because that number would determine how my day was going to go. And it was just a number. I was depressed and negative, and it would spill into all the other areas of my life if that number was 3 pounds up. But if it was 3 pounds down, I was happy as a clam. You got to get off the scale because we are so much more than that number. I have my clients write down 3 things that you are besides that number, who you are as a woman. Put one word in the chat that has nothing to do with the number on the scale. If you take nothing away from this webinar except get off the scale, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. Get off the scale. And can you imagine how much time and energy you will gain from breaking free from that food addiction? See, Cynthia started with me 13 years ago. She is a corporate VP. Her 3 children had gone off to college and beyond, and she was finally ready to focus on herself. She lost 30 pounds. She couldn't do a push-up when she got to me. She didn't sleep well, and she didn't have the energy to ski or hike or do the things she wanted to do. And now she travels, she works out, she can do more than 10 push-ups. She holds a plank for more than 60 seconds and sleeps soundly. She also regularly travels with her husband and doesn't stress out about gaining all the weight back because she's learned the solution in her focus in mindfulness. Then Judy came to me 14 years ago. She didn't need to lose weight, but she was out of shape and she wanted to return to playing tennis again. And now she has the energy to run around after her 2 grandchildren. And Tessa came to me 9 years ago. She was regularly active, but had aches and pains, muscle weakness. Tessa felt a terrible anxiety at night because she was going through a really horrible divorce, and she would snack after dinner. She tried every diet under the sun and would always go back to the same old habits. So we worked on anxiety first because our thoughts and feelings are where most of us go astray. She changed her thoughts and feelings, no longer eats her emotions. She's happy, healthy, and sane. So if you've struggled with uncontrolled eating, lack of sleep, low self-esteem, and depression, when you learn these tools, you stop obsessing about food, you feel comfortable in your body, you have radiant skin, tight muscles, flat abs, and you never have to worry about another diet again. If that's you, you're in the right place because I'm going to demystify how to break this fat storage trap. See, the truth is that most of us allow our emotions to justify what and how often we eat, meaning we're emotional eaters. We're upset, why not eat? We're in love, why not eat? We're stressed, why not eat? We're anxious, why not eat? We're bored, why not eat? Our partner did something to us to annoy us, why not eat? Our boss passed us up for a promotion, so why not eat? See, I can teach you how to break these bad habits, replace them with healthy ones, and end the emotional eating permanently. If you keep going for quick fixes with the next fad diet, you're going to continue a downward spiral. You're stuffing your emotions, you're binging on food, on sugar, you're sleep deprived, and inevitably gaining more weight back. See, these quick fixes, they don't work. You can do this, but now you know what's happening inside your body. You can't ignore those signs, the stress, the lack of sleep, the crazy workouts, the weight gain, moodiness, and more. But when we stop emotional eating, we have more sustained energy, we lose weight, we sleep like a baby, and improve our concentration. You can break this cycle, lay down a foundation that will free you from food addiction, cortisol dumping, leptin letdown, and start you on a journey of lasting results. So number one, we have to get off the sugar and minimize eating processed foods. I always recommend using the 80-20 rule, which means you eat whole, fresh foods 80% of the time, and then processed foods 20% of the time. Then you'll be headed in the right direction. 90-10 is better, but I always have people start with 80-20. And it's so worth the effort to ditch the sugar, and here are some reasons why. Sugar leads to weight gain. Added sugar in our body adds calories that have no nutritional value. Sugar also robs us of vital minerals like calcium, magnesium, and that's really essential, especially women that are over 40. It can raise our risk of heart disease. Excess sugar increases inflammation, triglycerides, blood pressure, and it's linked to clogged arteries. It's the road to type 2 diabetes. If you consume too much sugar, you can develop insulin resistance diabetes over time. Too much sugar causes acne. It speeds up the aging process because it interferes with collagen and elastin. God forbid. We don't want our skin to be sagging any sooner than it does. It's also linked to certain cancers. It can harm our liver. It's linked with depression. It's obviously not good for our teeth, and it can affect our hunger hormones. And I have some excellent tips on how you can break that sugar rush and crash loop, and it doesn't take long. Number one, have a cup of tea. Some studies suggest that drinking green tea can help balance our blood sugar, and the caffeine in green tea can give us a little energy boost that what we're usually looking for from a sugar rush. Get some fresh air, go for a walk outside. Exercise in sunshine equals more energy. Plus, changing our scenery can shift our perspective. Drink some water. Being even a little bit dehydrated can make us feel tired, and it also tends to bring on sugar cravings. The rule of thumb is you want to drink half your body weight in ounces of water a day. So in other words, if someone weighed 200 pounds, they'd want to drink 100 ounces of water a day. Eat a balanced diet with plenty of protein, healthy fats, and that keeps our blood sugar in check. Have you ever noticed that on some days our breakfast keeps us feeling full and satisfied for hours, while on other days it sets us up for endless snacking? So many of my clients have told me that they skip breakfast because it makes them hungry all day. And I have 2 words for that. It's called blood sugar. Eating breakfast with lots of sugar, like a bowl of cereal, can raise our blood sugar, which leads to our body releases insulin to help remove it from the bloodstream, which then leads to a blood sugar crash, which then leads to feeling hungry and tired, which then leads to eating more sugar, causing more insulin, and then the cycle goes on and on and on. So you can see how starting our day with a jolt of sugar can create that vicious cycle. But I have a solution that doesn't involve skipping your first meal of the day, and it's all about the type of food that we eat for breakfast. It's about saying yes to foods that are packed with nutrients you need to keep your blood sugar stable, like protein, healthy fats, and fiber. It's also about making it really easy to grab so that you don't have to mess around with cooking in the morning. If you're a coffee drinker, which I am, consider adding unsweetened full-fat coconut milk or coconut cream to your morning beverage instead of sugar and cream, regular cream, cow's cream. Experiment and find what works for you, because, for example, some people feel satisfied with a morning smoothie while others feel hungry an hour later. I have a really shocking statistic, and this is about sugar and how much we're eating. And the most straightforward recommendation that I found, it doesn't require a lot of math. It comes from the American Heart Association, and it also aligns with the World Health Organization's guidance. We should eat about 5 to 10%, 10% being tops of our total daily caloric intake is sugar. Women should eat no more than 6 teaspoons or 25 grams of added sugar daily. Men should not get any more than 9 teaspoons or 36 grams. And children's needs vary based on their age and caloric needs, but they really shouldn't get more than 3 to 6 teaspoons of sugar daily, which is 12 to 25 grams. But get a load of how much sugar we eat. The average American consumes 17 teaspoons, 71 grams a day, or 57 pounds of sugar per person yearly. In Canada, it's estimated that children eat more than 100 grams daily, and that the adults get around 85 grams. That's a lot of sugar. And it's a lot because it comes in the sneaky way where it's added to processed food, stuff we don't even know we're eating. Another way that we get a lot of sugar is from soda, juice, or other sweetened beverages. So 1 can of Coke contains 39 grams of sugar. 1 cup of unsweetened apple juice contains 24 grams of sugar. A small coffee from Dunkin' Donuts contains 17 grams of sugar. And a lightly sweetened tall iced coffee from Starbucks contains 15 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. That's why I'm going to invite you to my free 5-day sugar detox challenge. So making a significant change in how we eat is something to be proud of because it can affect your whole routine. And I want to tell you, you're all amazing for doing this for yourself. If you're struggling and you feel like you slip up once or twice, don't dwell on it. Just keep going. It gets better. It's not about being perfect because over time, know that it will get easier. A lot of us have stress-induced weight gain because high cortisol levels can affect our metabolism. And like I said earlier, it causes fatigue, depression, reduced memory, and lousy concentration. And we are exacerbating our weight gain if we weigh ourselves daily. What I want to tell you is 1 pound of fat is 3,500 kilocalories. So you multiply 3 times 3,500 kilocalories, it comes to 10,500. It is virtually impossible for us to consume 10,500 extra calories a day that would cause 3 pounds of fat to be gained. I'm sure someone can do it, but for the general public, most of us women, that's not what it is. It's water. Do you follow me? And again, when you get on that scale every day and you let that number bog you down, it's insane. It causes more stress, which causes more cortisol dumping, which is exactly what we don't want to do. All right, let's go on to exercise. Exercise, how much exercise do we need? Well, exercise boosts our metabolism. It removes depression. It changes how we feel. Being outside is imperative for most of us, but you don't have to go do bodybuilding, run a marathon, jump into a high intensity CrossFit class or Orange Theory to get your metabolism going. But you do have to move. You could walk at lunchtime. You could do a 20-minute workout 3 days a week, including some kind of resistance training that will help move your metabolism forward. And it also helps us to have stronger bones and joints, which we need, again, as we're going over 40 and we're reaching menopause or perimenopause. Osteopenia, osteoporosis, they're very real. And I have to say, I just did my first bone density test and it came out normal, which is huge. It's huge. And I have to say that it's because I've exercised most of my life. So I'm really grateful for that. The most important thing is your movement must fit into your lifestyle. It has to be sustainable, and you need to like it just a little bit. Maybe not right off the bat, but eventually, because you won't stick to it if you hate it. And I always recommend to my clients that you get a movement buddy, someone you can walk with, someone you meet at a yoga class, anything that helps you with accountability, because relationships are essential and it makes it a lot more fun. Over Thanksgiving, my sister was on the call. We went and took a class, which I don't think either one of us would repeat, but it was really fun to do it with her. I highly recommend getting a workout buddy. We can't always reduce the stress in our lives, but we can retrain ourselves and our brain how we respond to anxiety, and we can reduce our stress. So please feel free to sign up for my free Busy Women's Breakthrough call so I can help you map out a solution. And I won't mince words here. Change takes time. It takes effort, consistency, intention, sweat, discomfort, and overcoming setbacks. And I've developed several programs so you don't have to waste time, energy, and money and feel lost or hopeless, as I did on all those quick fixes. It breaks my heart to watch so many women struggle with food issues, and I'm passionate about helping women stop the insanity so they can spend time with energy on positive things. Like I said, I lost years of being with other people because I was constantly obsessed with food. I was busy binging, and I don't want anyone else to go through that. When I have healthy relationships, supportive coaches, mentors, I'm so much happier. And they hold me accountable for the things that I set out to do, because stabbing in the dark is a sure way to get frustrated, to lose hope and throw in the towel. So why not get some support, some accountability, build a community, and have some proven methods that have changed so many women's lives. It's easy to be a statistic. It's much harder to be a success story. And if you want to live in a fabulous life, share your talents with the world, and walk around in a healthy body full of confidence, you'll be a success story. Not only that, you're going to show your family and your friends, your co-workers, that you have grit, tenacity, perseverance, and you can finally shine in all your glory no matter what life throws at you. It comes down to this: how happy do you really want to be? Pop a yes in the chat if you want to have a happy life and live your life to the fullest. Do you know the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And I lived probably 20 years of my life within that insanity, and I don't recommend it. Because if we return to the same old, I guarantee you're going to end up at square one. So I'm going to say it one more time. I recommend considering joining me for a free Busy Women's Breakthrough call. And I'm committed to helping you. We'll map out 3 easy steps with whatever your biggest struggle is. And Colleen is going to put in the chat the link to set it up. Waiting to commit to something we desire tends to get lost in the shuffle of life. Again, I am the master at that. So don't procrastinate. Jump on a call with me and we'll figure out what's blocking you, and then set up 3 easy steps for you to get you on the path to freedom. So let me recap here. Step 1, we lay a strong foundation for permanent results. So you're always moving forward. That's called vision planning. Step 2, we create a no diet nutrition plan, making peace with food and recharging metabolism. Number 3, we find exercise program that fits your lifestyle, that's sustainable, and more. Again, I have numerous programs that fit every budget and lifestyle. Schedule your call with me so we can get started and find a comprehensive plan just tailored just for you. Click on the link in the chat. And Colleen's also going to put in the chat the free 5-day detox program as a thank you for being here. Now, I'm going to open up the chat for questions. I'm going to open up the webinar for questions. If you have any takeaways, go ahead and include that. And I'm going to turn off the recording now because of privacy issues. Okay.